I remember when I used to teach young kids to how to drive go-karts. You know, the apex is the most important part of the corner, and for sure, if you don't hit the apex right, you can lose a lot of time in a racetrack. So for sure, I think apex is one of the most important words in racing.
The apex of the corner is really the tightest part of the corner, right? That's the part where you're getting the car to, and after which you want to be opening your hands up. And that's not always necessarily in the middle of a corner if you're looking at it from a geometric point of view. It really all depends on the shape of the corner.
You know, it's all about maximizing your radius, and the apex for me is where I'm thinking about from the braking and entry, and then where I leave the rest of the corner. So it's basically what splits the corner into two. It's typically where you're driving hard into the corner, and the apex is where all the rotation happens, and then you're powering out of it.
You sort of view an apex as always thinking about, you know, getting off the corner, but momentum through the middle of the corner. So you're just trying to straighten out the corner as much as you can. Obviously, depending on what follows, sometimes you're sacrificing and hugging an apex longer, but every apex is a little bit different.
You know, obviously you always try and open up the radius of the corner the most you can to be able to carry as much speed as you can. So usually always brake from the outside of the approach of the corner, and then, you know, trail brake a little bit, carry some speed, hit kind of mid to late mid corner to the inside, and then, you know, track out and carry as much throttle as you can on exit. But the goal of hitting the apex is to make the corner the most open possible.
Missing the apex is always a bad thing. So it's so easy to overdrive a corner, and you think you're gaining a lot of time on entry, and oh, I only missed it by a little bit, and you don't realize how much you're missing on the exit, or you're losing on the exit. So there's kind of the golden saying, slow in, fast out. You really want to hit that apex every single time, because even just half a car width off can cost you a ton of time down the road.
Yeah, definitely. You know, use as much track as you can, momentum, speed, you know, straighten out the corner, get your hands straight off the corner as quick as you can. And usually a good rule of thumb is, you know, the slow in, fast out usually pays dividends.
And of course, obviously, the main goal is to get from point A to point B as quickly and as smoothly as possible.
The shape of the corner, sometimes you have some very, very late apexes, and it feels very strange, but that's just how you draw kind of a nice curve through the corner.
You always try to look for references in the racetrack. You know, every particular racetrack have different marks, and the asphalt has a curb, some grass, some cement. So you're always trying to find a reference in the walls, on a tree, somewhere that you know that when you get to that point you can turn.
Typically the fast turns, you take an earlier apex. You often find during a race that sometimes apexes get earlier and earlier as marbles build up on the outside of the track, and you need to make sure you stay inside the clean line, and that is especially on fast corners.
Personally, I tend to be an early apexer. I like slow turn-ins, which means that you're pointing into the corner sooner, but you're not just trying to get all your rotation done at the entry. You know, I tend to be pretty slow with how I turn in, and it doesn't work for everyone, but that's kind of my style of driving.
You know, you have to, you know, to try to maximize every possible inch of racetrack you can.
But my favorite part about apexes are when there's apex curbs. You know, that makes it really challenging to get the best radius out of the corner. You know, especially bigger curbs, which you don't really see at places like Daytona, but at other places, especially in a chicane or something like that, you can really slam the curb, and you see pictures of cars, especially on street circuits, where you hit the apex curb and the car's up in the air, and that makes it a lot more entertaining to hit an apex.